Doe, do you have something to read?
They said speak from the heart, but this is speaking from my heart. The night that we went to one of the centers, Rachel mentioned the Sally Test Center in the hospital with the children. I went and I sent an email to Brad and the boys and just a few of my really close friends. And here is my church family. I'll share this with you. Today is a day that I will truly always remember and will always and forever change my heart. As many as you know, Rachel, my mom, dad, and I are in Kenya on a mission trip. I never dreamed in just a couple of days of a 2-week trip I would have had the experiences I've already had. Yesterday, I had been thrilled by seeing zebra and baboon cross the road in front of the vehicle like deer and squirrels at home, the vast and diverse, beautiful landscape, and the people. If any of you ever, and I'm saying this truly from the heart, if you ever have even an inkling or an opportunity to go on a mission trip, I wish that for any and all of you. Go. Find a way and go. The people are so beautiful. They don't have enough to eat. Some of them have no homes. I've never been in a place and seen so many big, beautiful smiles. They don't know what they don't have, and they make the best of what they do have. We could learn a lot from them. I know I already have. Today I went to a place called Sally Test Center in Eldoret, Kenya. It's a place I'm so thankful exists. It's a special section in a hospital in the town of Eldoret which gives children, some of whom have no one else, a place to play and be loved. First, there's the abandoned babies. They had 10 of them today. These babies are either dropped at the police station or found abandoned along the road. They're taken to the hospital, which is very crowded and understaffed. Thankfully, people at Sally Test Ward come in every day from 8 to 4:30 and care for these babies. These babies would otherwise be left in the hospital ward and be lucky to be fed or changed for days. These are the healthy babies, even though some of them have AIDS and sickle cell, but they don't have an immediate urgent need that would draw the nurses away from the sicker children. So these Sally Test people come in every morning, and the first thing they do is feed and bathe these babies because most of them haven't had any attention since they've left at 4:30 the night before. These babies are loved and cared for every day in this wonderful place. The weeks that we were there were a vacation week, and the ward was actually supposed to be closed, but a lot of the volunteers came in because they couldn't leave these babies, or they truthfully probably would not have been fed or changed for 2 weeks. I was amazed at how happy these babies are, and the truth there, the staff there is truly some of the most remarkable people I've ever met. I actually met Mr. Kenya today. He's the reigning bodybuilding champion of Kenya. And do you know where he spends his days? There at Sally Test in that ward. He's the bodyguard of one of the women, or the woman who runs the clinic. And he stays there instead of just dropping her off and coming and picking her up. He stays there and cares and feeds those babies every day. Miss Sheba, who's the one who'd been there the longest, just loves him. She's captured his heart, and she loves him constantly blowing kisses, and he's taught her to give him thumbs up. Now the second part of this place, the cancer patients up to age 12. Most of them have no family that can come and stay with them at the hospital because they can't afford to be away from their homes and their cattle or their other children. These children would otherwise be kept in beds all day, every day, all alone. But here, these children are taken out even just for a few hours, and they can play games, and they can dance, and they're hugged, and they're loved, and they have the biggest smiles. They just want someone to love them. It's so simple. I can't tell you how you feel when you see them smile. And this is where I met Patrick. Patrick will stay in my mind and my heart forever. He is a beautiful 8-year-old boy who's in a wheelchair. His right leg is as skinny as a broomstick because of the atrophy from not being able to walk. And his left leg from the knee up is the size of a football. It's fire hot, and he's in a lot of pain. Today was the first day that he'd been brought to the center, and he was afraid. He was curled up in a pile of teddy bears off to the side, and he was the only child in that whole room who wasn't smiling. He was in pain, and he held his knee, and tears would just trickle down his cheek. When I first got into the ward, like everyone, I gravitated towards those precious little babies. They were so cute. And then the older children that were playing games. And then I spotted him. He couldn't speak English, so I grabbed a picture book and I pointed to the animals and tried to make their noises. And he would follow every place I pointed on the page. After a few books, I knew that I'd gained his trust, and one of the men who volunteered came over to translate so I could find out what his name was. Together, we tried to see what we could do to play with him. We tried to set him up and play cards or play with a car, but he was in so much pain when you moved him from the reclining position he was in. So the helper went and got a clipboard and a coloring page and just a few crayons. And I sat there for a long time while he colored the most beautiful picture I've ever seen. He took such care in choosing each color, and he didn't go outside the lines. We found it. He couldn't dance and he couldn't play with the other kids, but he could color. At our lunch break, Rachel and I went to a store, and we found a small coloring book with 5 crayons. And after lunch, we gave it to him, and we wrote his name on it so that when he went back to the ward, he'd have something to do when he laid in his bed alone. He smiled so big, and he said, "Asante Sane," and that means thank you very much. And he let us hug him. This young boy who has malignant sarcoma and a very short time to live knows that somebody cared about him. The things that we take for granted and the stuff we feel that we need, it's so unimportant. All we need is to love one another and take time for one another. I can hardly hold back the tears as I write about him and this awesome place. I just wanted to share this beautiful day with you, whom have touched my life, and I want to thank you for that. I'm so anxious to share more about this experience with you, and hopefully it will be a reminder that even though life gets crazy and we have so many things pulling us in all directions, we need to thank God for this life and for all of His children everywhere, and just love one another.
Well, thank you guys very much. I know that in the coming, not this next week, but the week after, that you two will be, or all of you will be helping, doing a Sunday school class in the fellowship hall. So if you're interested in hearing more, but maybe even what will be cool is what we can do and how we can help in this situation. It'll be going on not this Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but in 2 weeks down in the fellowship hall. So thank you again for sharing. Thank you very much.